The Ethel ship, seed of renewal, slipped into the silent cradle of Earth's orbit after a 5-millennial-long slumber. To the Ethel, a race of serene, luminous beings who saw the cosmos as a garden to be tended. This world was their greatest masterpiece. They had planted the seeds of complex life here, nurturing the first mammals before their long sleep. Expecting to return to a world teeming with the gentle, intelligent civilization they had engineered, Commander Lyra, her form composed of shifting light and crystalline structures, gazed upon the planet. The data was wrong. The vibrant blue and green marble was now shrouded in a perpetual, smoky twilight. No energy signatures of a global civilization greeted them. Instead, their sensors detected sparse, high-energy life signs clustered in fortified pockets and a vast, cold silence. The garden is quiet, her second, Kale observed, his own light flickering with unease. The scout pod was dispatched to the coordinates of what was once a great Ethel nexus, a place later humans would call the Mesopotamian Valley. The pod, a vessel of living wood and polished stone, settled on the dusty plain. Lyra and Kale emerged, their forms glowing softly in the deep night. The air was not filled with the scent of blooming life, but with dust, decay, and the faint coppery temps of old blood. The great cities they had envisioned were gone. In their place stood a monolithic, brutalist fortress of black stone, its spires clawing at the starless sky. Before they could initiate a biological scan, they were surrounded. They moved without sound, appearing from the shadows as if they were part of them. Tall, pale, and gaunt, they wore the tattered finery of a bygone human era. Their eyes burned with a crimson hunger, and their presence cast a psychic wave of cold dread that even the Ethel could feel. These were the inheritors of Earth. The Ethel's children were gone. In their place, a blight had taken root. The one who seemed their leader, a creature who called himself Lord Valerius, smiled, revealing elongated canines. "The old ones return," he hissed, his voice a dry rustle in their minds. "We have fed on the legends of you, you who gave us this flock. We are in your debt." Lyra, communicating through pure thought, projected a wave of confusion and sorrow. "What have you done? Where are the children of the sun?" Valerius laughed, a sound like breaking bones. The sun blessed, they were susceptible, so warm, so full of life. It was a feast that lasted centuries. We are their evolution, perfect predator. Horror dawned upon Lyra. Their garden had not just failed, it had been corrupted into a hunting ground. The gentle herbivores they had left behind had been devoured by a parasite that now ruled the world. The Ethel were pacifists. They had no weapons. Their power was that of creation, of light, of life. As the vampires closed in, Lyra raised her hands, and a brilliant, purifying sunlight erupted from her form. The effect was instantaneous and catastrophic. The vampires shrieked, not in pain, but in a rage so profound it shook the very air. The light did not burn them. It offended them, which was a memory of the day they had forsaken. Valerius, his face contorted in fury, moved with impossible speed. He did not bite her. He simply backhanded her, and the force, fueled by millennia of accumulated strength, shattered her crystalline arm. Kale rushed to her side, projecting a shield of solid light. The vampires tested it, their claws scraping against the energy, their laughter echoing in the Ethel's minds. "Your light is a candle in our eternal night, gardeners. It will gutter and die." They were not trying to kill the Ethel immediately. They were playing with them. They were curious. The Ethel were dragged into the dark fortress. They were placed not in cells, but in a vast, derelict greenhouse, a pathetic echo of the world they had tried to build. The air was thick with the smell of blood and dead roses. Here, the true drama unfolded. The vampires saw the Ethel not as enemies, but as resources. Their luminous blood, the very essence of life, was a vintage they had never tasted. A single drop could sustain a vampire for a week. Their despair was a finer wine than any human terror. Lord Valerius approached Lyra, who was held fast by two of his brood. He produced a crystalline goblet. "A libation for the gods who made us possible," he mocked. With a swift, cruel slice of a claw, he opened a gash on her shoulder. The liquid light that flowed from her was not red, but a brilliant, golden ichor. He caught it in the goblet, and it glowed with the light of a captured star. As he drank, his pale skin flushed with a horrific parody of life. He sighed in pleasure. It tastes of Genesis, of a sun we have not seen in ages. He looked at his brethren. We will not drain them. We'll farm them. The horror of their fate was a tear that could not fall, a scream that had no voice. The Ethel, the gardeners of worlds, were to be kept as living fountains, milked for their lifeblood until they were empty husks. Kale, witnessing Lyra's violation, did something the Ethel had not done in a million years. He reached into the core of his being, into the power they used to ignite stars and seed oceans, and he weaponized it. He did not create light, he unleashed it. A wave of pure solar fury erupted from him. It was not the gentle light of day, but the nuclear fire of a star's heart. The vampires in the immediate vicinity did not just burn, they vaporized. The fortress walls trembled, and great cracks appeared in the ceiling. But the effort was suicidal. Kale's form fractured, his light fading as he poured every last jewel of his life into the blast. As he collapsed into a pile of dim gray crystal, his final thought projections were not of victory, but of apology to Lyra for failing to protect her, in a profound galaxy-spanning sorrow for the beautiful garden they had lost forever. The blast had brought a moment of chaos. Lyra, weakened and bleeding light, stumbled from the shattered greenhouse into the fortress corridors. She was not running to escape. She knew that was impossible. She was running to bear witness. She found a communications chamber, a perversion of Ethel technology, and with the last of her strength, she activated a planetary scan and broadcast it on a loop towards the seed of renewal and out into the void. The scan showed everything. The dark, silent cities. The human cattle, kept in terrified, docile herds. The vast, opulent halls where vampires fed and played with their food. And the fate of her people, Ethel, her own kin, kept in glowing cages. Their lifeblood being slowly, methodically drained by the laughing inheritors of Earth. As vampire guards finally found her, Lyra did not resist. She looked up at the cold stone ceiling, as if she could see through it to the stars where her ship hid. Her final act was to send one simple, devastating message to her people, a warning etched in grief and tears of light. The garden is lost. Do not return. The blight is sentient. The blight has won. On the bridge of the Seed of Renewal, the crew received the transmission. There were no words. Their light, usually so bright, dimmed to a mournful glimmer. They watched as their kin were farmed, as their masterpiece became a charnel house. They did not fire a weapon, they did not seek revenge, simply turned their ship away from the planet that had once been their greatest hope. As they slipped back into the void, they updated the galactic record for Southry. It was no longer listed as a developing sanctuary. Its new classification was a single, mournful glyph, one that translated to all who could read it. Cursed world, quarantined, the Garden of Eternal Night.